Or did he scribble racer on there? Fuck you. Anyways, next review. So, this is Rakuna Matata. What a wonderful phrase. Rakuna Matata. Playing Genji on King's Row. 3.2 KSR. Let's see what this guy's got. Yeah. Get over it, Genji. Oh yeah, that is the video where I demonstrate my amazing ability to draw a Roadhog. Is this the last review? It is. Wow, this is really dark. Holy crap. Whatever. So... Tracer's still on your butt. It wasn't a bad idea. I think a lot of your team was dead, so they had the ability to focus you down. What happened, Rakuna? You got killed. So I think you were doing a good job of Genji at first, and I think you played Genji well, like you're doing what you're supposed to. But your team just got killed, and essentially it was down to like a 4 or 5v1. You just can't do much about that. Alright, I would actually... Well, I mean, you could have made... Yeah, oh, okay, so you got a Symmetra. Alright, 75 hit points is really big. You got your ult. That's what I wanted to see. Tracer's giving you a little bit of problems. By a little bit, I mean a lot of it. Alright, there's a weak target. I think... You got it. You can get her. Alright, you can't get her, but it was worth a shot. I would actually start poking up above a little bit. Don't worry about it. You don't gotta tell your team your accuracy's bad. They know. So as a Genji, I would push up a little bit. Ooh. I think that worked out. So I think that entire situation could have been changed if you pushed up a little bit. So if you're in the top balcony, remember as Genji, it's debatable if you're the most mobile character in the game, but you're pretty goddamn close, right? Oh, that would have been a sweet hit. But as a mobile character, you need to abuse mobility. That is... Yes. This is Genji's thing, right now. Alright. I think you got a little bit too excited. I mean, it was pretty sweet what you just did there. At the same time, calm down, buddy. Once you kill 3 or 4 people, you're going to win the battle. You don't need an ult to kill the rest of them. Yeah, this is the time I would push up a little bit and just make them pay for every single foot they have to traverse going forward. Good reaction. Okay. Perfect. This is what you got to do. Yeah, I think that was the right choice. Dashing straight in on a hog in a very narrow area is gonna just scream, you know, get hooked. Am I going to play after the review? No, I'm not. I hurt my hand, so I don't wanna play today. Oh, that was a good deflect. Look at Hanzo's. Where's he at again? Oh, that Hanzo. I feel sorry for him. Sometimes I've been noticing you right-click a little bit from too far away. Yeah, this is not your fight. You can stall them out by doing Genji stuff. Stay alive, wait for your team to attack again. Yeah. I know you want to. I guess you did get the Zen ult out, but it's very dangerous to solo. I just want to say he has 34% of his ult left. Hold on, did he get a fucking swing off? Well, I know Genji's return rate is stupidly ridiculous. He dashed. He dashed with it out, and he still got a return of 30%. That's ridiculous.
I will not waste this chance.
I don't think he should have ulted at all there, actually. I believe he ulted too early. I mean, if you ult behind a team, they're all just going to look at you, and it's a 6v1, and you're going to die, most likely. If he waited for his team to attack, and they put pressure on the front, and then he ulted behind them, that is a completely different situation. And then he can ult the back lines when the front lines are distracted. Hanzo's cleaning house. Alright, you got it. Using such an aggressive ult like that isn't terrible when they have so little time left. You essentially, you got 2 or 3 kills, and what you forced is, you forced them to do one final push. Not on their terms. They have to push right now, or they lose. Perfect. And that worked. So that stall worked out for you.
Double kill. Score 0-2.
And we'll get through this just fine.
4. I understand.
Let's see how you do on offense. Someone in particular? This is Hakura Matata, I would just call him, but his name, I think it's Haruka or something. This is actually a high priority review. He submitted 2 of them, and I picked this one. I'll have to tell him to resubmit the other one later, because even with high priority reviews, I still want you doing one every 2 weeks. Ballsy play. You make it out alive, though. That's the danger of going straight in as Genji, is you just take so much damage. So right there, he picked a side. I like that. Right? When I keep on telling people pick a side and cleave to the center, right there he picked to the side and then turned towards the center. Come at me, bro! Come on! Where are you running? Here you are, right-clicking a little bit too far distance.
My genius is finally recognized.
Get in there.
Good res. Now you got 2 other supports out. You need to get your ultimate. There you go. Ah, so close to the health packet. But they're all back there. I think you killed 3 people and there's 3 people in the back room. But your team's dead, so it doesn't matter. Am I ever going to pick up any students and review them frequently? No, that's what I do to everyone, technically. That's why I say every 2 weeks. Overwatch is just about mastery of fundamentals, so it's really bad to tell people, like, correct people every other day about the same goddamn thing. Like, that's actually demoralizing. Do you know the Mercy's over there? Yep. Again, you're really, really right-clicking from far distances away. And thank you, Space Lucy! Space Lucy, I haven't seen you talk yet. You're one of those awesome lurkers that come by and give me a subscription, then go back into the night like Batman. Good deflect. Good catch on that one. Uh-oh, your Hanzo's getting counter Hanzo'd. Oof. That was a good shot on Hanzo's part, not gonna lie. Maybe you could have dodged it with a double jump. I can't remember if you jumped a second time. No, you didn't. Stay in the air for a little. I've been noticing that you don't double jump often, which I don't want to complain about. I think some people just double jump too much. They're always constantly like floating in the air, but it does make you harder to hit. But there is a place for it. Don't just spam it. I think everyone in there is weak, and they're going up to the top right. That's where you need to go. Someone's to your behind you too. I think it's Hanzo's behind you. Damn. So on those, you may want to double jump more when you're on the one-on-ones. Just facing the Hanzo, you're just hoping he doesn't hit you, and you're making it easy for him. You're just kind of walking around a little bit. At least with double jump, you can double jump a little bit to the left, to the right, and you can change your trajectory a little bit. I don't know what the fuck Hanzo's doing there. All right, good. I hear Mercy to your right, directly right to you. Oh, she's in front of you. Man, I thought I heard heals. So remember, deflect only lasts for 2 seconds. If Soldier puts down the healing field and you know, like, the healing field's gonna outlast your 2-second deflect, just kind of give it up. Oh, we got him. Good shots. You're getting some good headshots. Again, you're right-clicking more than I would like. Where's that dragon coming from? There it is. Like, if you have a kind of a choke point that I would like as a Junkrat, you can definitely left-click. Right-click's only a little bit faster DPS. I think it's like 0.1 second faster, if that.
30 seconds.
Space Lisa been watching before you had a sub button. Well, thank you. One of the OGs. Back in the terrible times with Junkrat, man. Back when everyone threw every other game. Genjis and Tracers just ran rampant, and Divas. Oh god, those days were so dark. There you go. Yeah, right here is when you shouldn't be left clicking that much. I like the contention. So you went up high ground to take Soldier, and I get it. Like, someone has to deal with his ass. All right, at least you push him to the low ground. So I think one of the big things is that you like to nose up with Genji, and that's dangerous. And don't worry about this. It's not the Winston that was your issue. You were nosing up a lot. Like that last dash, you dashed into 3 people. Yeah, that's good. I think you gained like 10% ult from that, maybe 13. Here's the payload. Oh, there's the payload. The problem is your dash stopped here, and all of a sudden you're a Genji without a way out. You have 2-second deflect, but people are all around you. You're in the middle of combat, which is super dangerous. Right? Whenever you're surrounded, any class, it's dangerous. There's no good time to be surrounded. I guess Sombra with ult. Right? That's about it. I've seen you do it a couple times where you attack head-in as a Genji. Now this is my Genji speech. Genji likes to stay on the edges of battle. You like to be where this diamond is on the square. If the square is like a point or a field of battle or something like that. You basically just don't want to fight people head on. You want to fight people here, you know, off on the sides, off on an angle, off on an angle, off on an angle, off on an angle, yada, yada, yada. Yeah, you can fight them head on, but that's not your specialty, right? Your specialty is sitting around combat, not sitting around, surveying around combat, finding where the weaknesses are, and whenever you find the weakness, strike. Right? That's what you're designed to put pressure constantly. You don't have fall off damage. So constantly put pressure if their formation breaks at all, if you see an opening on a 200 hit point class, stuff like that. Take them out. Genji has really good burst damage on 200 hit point characters. Now, if you go up to 275, if they got a Symmetra shield gen, then life gets difficult for Genji. Actually, life gets incredibly difficult for Genji at 275 health. But yeah, you want to maintain this little perimeter around combat. You're kind of in combat, you're kind of out of combat. You're just not dead on. This is what Genji does. He applies a constant pressure. Let me get the camera. Wow. So what Genji does... Oh, jeez, let me put my sleeves down. Don't want to scare people. So what Genji does, and same thing I always say, like, you need to have pressure on the other team. And I don't mean like you need to be in the middle of them, you don't need to be over there. You need to be close enough to combat that you're dealing damage to them. You don't have fall off damage, so your accuracy is relatively fine at like this medium short range, like 20-25 meters. And what you do is you constantly have a little bit of pressure on them, so no matter what they do, you know what they're doing, right? They can't lie to you because you're so close to them. Like if they try to go this way, well, you're touching them, so like you know exactly what they're doing when they're doing it. If they ever do something wrong, you can go in. But you don't want to be so far away from combat that like there's this distance and then you're in combat. At the same time, you don't want to be all the way over combat. Now you can definitely dash through and use deflect to buy yourself space to get out on that edge again, right? So if there's the square and like you want to be in the diamond, like the way to get to the other side and then a little bit farther to get into a safe space again, you bridge with deflect. You bridge these distances that are hard to maneuver through. So like going from middle to close range, you have dash, but sometimes it's very risky to burn dash going into people, right? Because if things don't work out, you don't have a dash out. You gotta hope your 2 seconds works with deflect. You gotta get something. Maybe if you get a kill, you can dash out. But if not, you're kind of shit out of luck. You gotta hope they miss, which is a really bad thing to hope on. Yeah. And of course, with deflect, there's all these baiting and all these other techniques you can kind of do with it. But that's like Grandmaster or higher level stuff. You don't really need to know that for lower level. And by lower level, I mean below 4,000. You just need to work on your fundamentals to a point that no one can really break your fundamentals. The tricks and the tips and the one-offs, like that comes later. Worry about the fundamentals at the start. Oh, wrong one. So yeah, so like when I was saying, here's the square, here's the other square. Let me actually draw a proper square. So if you actually are in combat here, you can dash like this way, and use your deflect to either get to the safe space or the safe space over here, right? Now this changes if your team is like with you the whole time, right? If your team's in here, then it's a bit different. And of course, like I can't draw a diagram for everything, but you know, still be on the edge. Don't be with your team fighting this way with them. You want to be out. Use your mobility to be over here. But your accuracy, I would say, is fine. Just use right click. Use left click more. That looks terrible. At a certain point, Genji's like 15-degree spread starts to get to the point where like people can fit in the middle here and you're only hitting them with one. And even then you're not hitting them reliably with one. At least with your left click you can aim for headshots and whatnot like that. So when you start getting it at a certain distance, definitely prioritize left clicks over right clicks. Your positioning, I think, was you're still head on. And that's kind of what I already covered all this. A little bit too head on for my tastes. Logistics is one of Genji's strongest suits. Remember to stay around combat, to poke and to prod, to keep pressure on them the whole time. And that does not mean overcommit on pressure. It just means know what they're doing, constantly having attacks in their face, or at least like on their shields. Just make them always know that you're there and they're there, and no matter what they do, like you kind of got a good source of information on them. That's why Genji is one of the most reliable sources of information. He has the mobility. If someone actually, like, as you're holding this distance, if someone engages on you, you can just dash out. Or you can use the superior mobility just to go up and over or, like, go around. I mean, you have so many options as Genji. You need to use your mobility to an advantage. And one of the advantages is what I've been talking about, which is putting pressure on people. Slight pressure, not a lot of pressure. Overall, I think you did pretty well for Genji. The detail stuff, like you ulted. Someone in chat said you ulted too late when you came up behind them, and they're like, "Oh, you should have ulted and got a bunch of kills." It still would have been like a 5-on-1, and they probably would have killed him. What you needed to wait for was for your team to attack. And when your team attacked, it would have essentially bought them time. Or it would have bought you time. Because then they would have been engaged, and their attention would have been fully vested forward. Then you attack when they're distracted. I think you ulted it directly straight on a couple times. I know the cliche thing to do is to dash up. And the reason why people dash up is one, you get a dash reset whenever you ult, but two, so you can see where you can dash and you get a clear attack on. The problem is when you dash straight in and ult, is that their attacks that are normally going towards your team are going straight through you. And I think that happened a couple times, where you kind of dashed at them and it was super easy for them to hit you with. They had Zen ult. Gaming Grandpa, it's not about what they did, it's just about how he did what he did, right? Don't worry about the details like they had Zen ult and shit like that. It's more about just because it worked out doesn't mean what he did was right. He did something in a wrong way, so it should be. It should be noted that he did it in a wrong way, even though it worked out to his advantage. He got lucky, right? He still got something out of the ult, even though he shouldn't have. Trying to think what else. What else? What else did I talk about? You went off a couple times. That was good. You're getting your dash resets. Oh, double jumping. So I noticed you don't double jump that much. And double jump, you do have some slight control over mobility, like a little bit to the left and a little bit to the right. I'd say double jump more. I would just say that because I don't think you're double jumping at all, if I remember correctly. Very rarely were you double jumping. Very rarely were you parkouring up a wall, like jumping, going up a wall, and then jumping off. I don't mind that you weren't doing it because if I played Genji a lot, I guarantee one of the skill sets that I would develop would be not double jumping, not wall climbing, and just fighting everyone head on head. And then I'd get really good at that, and then I'd start adding in the other stuff into my skill set. I don't know if you're doing that. Maybe you are. Maybe you're not. But as long as you identify what you're not doing and realize that you can add that into your skill set later on, that's definitely a great training tool. Like an amazing training tool. Oh, Rakuna's in chat. But he got timed out. What'd you say, Rakuna? Black? You said the S word. What's the S word? Do I have an S word banned? Is it soda? I think did I ban soda? No. Maybe you said an actual bad word. I forget. I don't think I had any words blacklisted. Oh, you said shit. Really? They get you banned?
Ah, timing's overrated.
Soda Sombra. I like how everyone's just listing S words now. But yeah, I feel so bad right now. I missed my review. Don't worry about it. How about this? Rakuna, if you have any questions, throw me on my Discord, and I'll get back to you for direct questions. But yeah, you were definitely not double jumping at all. It's not a bad thing, but it does make them harder to hit. You know, it gives you time to. It's a little bit floaty. It gives you time to shoot a couple more times, and you know you can parkour around it a lot more. You can dodge stuff a little bit more actively with it, and I just didn't see you doing that at all, which is all right. That's cool. Especially when you're 1v1ing the Hanzo, you need to be mobile. There's one thing though that I'd like to say about movement. All right, what is it about? You just changed your mouse that day in sensitivity. I think you're doing fine accuracy-wise. Actually, I think accuracy is the one thing I would, not, like, worry about. Like, I don't I think your accuracy, you're, like, and by tracking, I mean, like, keeping the enemy within your scope. I think that was fine. I think you're doing that fine. But you were relearning movement. Okay. Well, that's a legit thing to do, man. No problem there. There's actually a lot of stuff I wanted to tell you about. Well, you can start telling me about it now. Do you remember it, or do you need do you need to go through the video? I did not watch any of E3. We'll go through it later and ask you in Discord. Okay. Okay, that works, man. But I think you did. I think you did fine. What were you at? Sorry, I forget. 32K. Yeah. Yeah, I think you're at your skill level, and we will definitely have to work on things to get you to masters with Genji. Coaching for sub only? No, it's not. In fact, now, we can open up reviews again. But I'll do it tomorrow. I have to figure out I have to make the new change in Streamlabs. But yes, we'll open up sub reviews again. I finally got through all of them. I think my YouTube video, my viewer review list was at like 55 before I did this last burn of all the videos. So I think we did like 30 to 40 VODs in like the last week or two, which is pretty crazy seeing how as I spend like 30 to 45 minutes per review. So, cool. I've been actually doing better since I got used to my mouse, which is why I was hesitant on sending a VOD. But I thought my habits probably did not change too much anyway. That's true. That is true. Your habits won't change much with just your sensitivity. How much is standard review going to cost? I think I was going to make it 400 to 500. An extra 1,000 for priority. I think that sounds fair. Yeah, I think the main things were just you attacking head-on a little bit too much. That was fine. Oh, the big one was you were using left click. Not a lot. You're using right click too much. At closer ranges, that's cool, but you were doing it at longer ranges. That's where you popped off. I think this was alright. That was a fine play. You guys just deleted 2 of them. This was a good play. You got to see the other side of them. This is good. This is what you want to do. Like, this is... Yeah, there's your double jumping. Yeah, okay, you are double jumping. Now, this is your... Okay, yeah, you pressed your luck a little bit. That Hanzo. I feel so bad for that guy. He almost dodged it, but then he just landed right back into it. At this point, you just gotta back up. You do. You're outgunned. Oh, this is the one where I said you attacked a little bit too early. Remember, you don't want to just, like, ult on a team. I know the pros do it and whatnot, but you're not a pro. I don't mean that in a bad way. Just... right there are 6 people looking at you. Of course it's not going to work. If you waited until your team engaged, then you would have had a lot better chance.
I will not waste this chance.
So, this is actually a really good point for Genji because you can scale up and down these walls constantly. You have really good mobility. I think you played this third point really well. Oh, and your ult, I think your ult comes up here. I like it. Just because it forces their hand to push at the last 10 seconds. Right, so you ulted, you got a couple people. What this means now is, look guys, you got 20 seconds left, you have to push. Whether you want to be grouped up or not, whatever you have to throw it forward, which is a really shitty place to be in for offense. And then you do it, you know, you guys hold it off. But overall, I think you did well. It's not 2,000. No, it's not. It's not $2,000. I knew that when I ulted, but I wasn't sure how close my team was. Okay. Seabear, I need to open up the review channel on Discord, but yeah, I'll be opening up that later. And there's also a system. Now when you donate bits, you do get points. You get 1 point for every 1 bit. Someone just asked it for it, and I was like, I have no problems doing that. You were so stressed sending in a VOD. But now that I missed it, it's just so anticlimactic. Eh, don't worry about it, dude. Yeah, don't worry about it. But that's it. Oh, we did it. We made it through.